In a very real sense, the entire story of the book of Esther is one great irony, an irony that begins with today's reading. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas. In a story, irony can be the idea that a character intends one thing, but his actions result in the opposite thing. That's what happens in Esther. And it involves a specific word, poor. The ironic use of this word begins when Haman, the villain of the story, sets in motion his plot to destroy the Jews. The book says, in the first month, which is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast pur, which means the lot, before Haman, for the day and for the month, and the lot fell on the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. Then Haman said to King Ahasuerus, "There is a certain people scattered and separated among the peoples in all the provinces in your kingdom. Their laws are different from those of every other people, and they do not keep the king's law, so that it is not appropriate for the king to tolerate them. If it pleases the king, let a decree be issued for their destruction, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver into the hands of those who have charge of the king's business, so that they may put it into the king's treasuries." So the king took his signet ring from his hand and gave it to Haman, son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the enemy of the Jews. The king said to Haman, "The money is given to you, and the people as well, to do with them as it seems good to you." The details to take note of here are that this takes place in the first month of the year. Haman and his associates cast lots, or pur, in order to determine the month and day when the Jews will be destroyed. Following their reading of the pur, they settle on the 13th day of the 12th month. That gives 11 months from the hatching of the plot to its execution. So here's the deal. Casting lots in the ancient world was a very common way to make certain decisions. Even in Israel, we see this practice often. In fact, Israel's first king, Saul, is chosen in this very way. And at least among Jews, and probably among other cultures as well, it was assumed that casting lots was a way of determining the will of God or the gods, giving this practice quasi-religious status. As far as Haman is concerned, the gods, his gods, have indicated that the 13th day of the 12th month is the right day on which to slaughter the Jews. As we will see, the irony is that the exact opposite thing will happen on that very day. It is not the Jews who will be slaughtered, but rather those who plan to kill the Jews. Haman, of course, has no way to see this. As far as he's concerned, his plot is now set in stone, or to use an appropriate idiom, he believes the die has been cast and the future set. With that future set, as he believes, he now announces his plot to the king Ahasuerus. And as a lot of tyrants do, he tells half-truths to make the Jews appear in the worst possible light. He depicts them as scattered throughout the kingdom, implying that they have spread out like spies to undermine Ahasuerus and the Persian Empire. He depicts them as a people who intentionally separate themselves from the rest of the people, implying that they hold themselves above other Persians, and hence a people to be distrusted. And he depicts them as a people who follow their own laws, implying that they do not follow laws decreed by Ahasuerus. And then, not fully trusting Ahasuerus to reach the desired conclusion, he says, "It is not appropriate for the king to tolerate them." With that, Haman's plot unfolds. Letters in the king's name and under the king's seal are sent to all regional governors, instructing them what to do and when to do it. As far as Haman is concerned, his plan is as good as accomplished. But as we will see tomorrow, Mordecai has another plan entirely. And as the two plots unfold, the irony of the story deepens. But for now, May God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.